Meet the team that doesn't just talk about impact, they ignite it. Jim Morris and producer Rachel.
Woo woo. We just said the same thing. And you never say that. You always say, let's go.
I was just going to say, I never do that. And we did it simultaneously in harmony. Wow.
Now we have to play the game where you say a word and we have to say whatever comes to our head next.
Hey, alignment. I love it.
Alignment. We love it. Oh, God. Hi, everybody. Oh, my God. How's everybody doing today? I'm just like.
Speaking of alignment.
Yeah.
You and I were talking before this about saying yes to things, saying no to things. Do you want to jump into a little bit of our conversation? Because I think it was really powerful. And you made a statement that I heard you say the other week as well. And I never thought about it that way. So do you want to jump into that and just kind of share with everybody? Because like before this, I was like,
we have to talk about this.
You got to share this with the world. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that I'm learning. And I think especially women have the hardest time with this is no is a complete sentence. And that applies to so many different aspects of our lives. I think in theory, we were talking about it in like the dating world and friends dating and people dating. And when women say no, like a lot of times guys want the reason why. And it's like, I don't have to explain that to you. Actually, I can just say, no, I'm not interested. But it's the same in business. When you have either people pursuing you, clients or other businesses, the people that want business with you or to connect with you, or they want you to come to an event, and you can just say no. And I think a lot of times women especially try to come up with a reason like, well, no, because I have to do this, or no, because I have to do that, or no, because of this. And it's like, sometimes you can just say, no, thank you. I'm not interested. And when you get into that,
prefer that.
You prefer just the no.
I do a ton of events, right? So if someone says, hey, thanks for asking me, but I'm not interested in this one. Can you send me the next one? I'm like, cool. No, I don't actually push that, right? Like, because I'm like, okay, this person just gave me their boundary. They're not interested most of the time. And I used to take it personal. After digging deep and having a lot of these conversations, when people are doing that, it's typically because they don't have the money to spend on an event. Like it has nothing to do with my concept. It has nothing to do with the speakers I'm putting on stage. Like, and not everybody, right? Some people might put up a boundary. They just don't like me. They don't like the speakers. They don't like the concept, right? Like that, there's a reality there too. Like I'm not hitting on the perfect concept with the perfect speaker and the perfect marketing for everybody. And I don't want to, right? Like that's reality. But as I would dig in over the years, I realized like, wow, most of the time after like I push and push and push, it's not actually an objective that it's money. It's like this person is struggling in their business. And you got to remember, like these events are for business owners and entrepreneurs. So like most businesses fail, right? I think it's 50% don't make it past 3 years. So like the odds are against me based on that objection. And yes, it's an objection sometimes. Sometimes people are just like, I don't have the money, and they don't really even know about the thing. They don't even really know what we're doing different. They had a past experience that was poor or trauma, or they went to an event and this speaker they didn't like and they're on my stage now. And right. So there's millions of reasons, but most of the time it's like a struggling entrepreneur is really struggling and they just don't have the money. So to really understand that and feel through that, I don't push anymore when people put that boundary up and some salespeople are gonna be like, you're an idiot, you're leaving money on the table, but it's not how I sell.
No, and I feel like you're just putting somebody in an uncomfortable conversation and putting them on the defense. And then are they ever going to contact you ever again after you've sort of pushed and pushed and pushed, even after they've said no very clearly? No, they're never going to talk to you again. Like, no.
That's a great point. Let me ask you this, Rachel. What if, I think this is what I do sometimes. I want to put up the boundary. Someone invites me to an event. This just happened. This just happened, right? Someone invited me to a retreat. It's a friend of mine. He's spoken at one of my events, right? So I feel obligated, like he's helped me before. I don't have the money. Like it's not a priority where my dollars are going for the next 6 months. I'm doing all these different things. Like it's not a priority to go educate myself and become a better man. Like I think I'm doing okay. There's always room for improvement. Like I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that at all. I can definitely get better. But right now, that's not important to me is to go to this retreat. And I struggle because I want to get the invite the next time. I want to keep the friendship and I don't want it to be perceived incorrectly. So I often will over explain. And to your point, you can just say, no, thank you.
Well, and for that, like, no, thank you. But please keep me on the list for next time.
So rather than just a no, thank you, what that person said to me, and put their boundaries up, I could use that too. So yeah, look at that. I already had the answer. Someone was saying it to me and I was like, oh, that's great. I will not push. So hopefully it gets received that way. But I do know some people will not accept that and they will look at it as an objection and they will push and push and push. And I think that's the boundary that I think will break the relationship rather than be just saying, no, I'm not interested. Thank you for thinking of me. I really appreciate it.
Well, also, you don't like the feeling, and I don't like the feeling of being put on the defense, right? And then when you see that person's text come up or a phone call come up from them, and you're just like, oh God, like I don't want to have to go through this again. I already said no, right? And and that person in your life, like it's almost like I have these health insurance people calling me all the time, right? I have all the it's constant. I'm just like, literally, I said no, like please stop. Now I'm never going to use you because of this, because you're not listening to what I'm saying. No. And I feel like it gets so frustrating because as a business owner, like, of course we want to be the yes people. Of course we want to give everybody everything, right? If I could do it for nothing, I would do it for nothing, but that doesn't put food on the table and I have a family. And so when you're in that space and you're constantly put on the defense, it's a dying conversation and friendship or relationship or connection. Because as a human, right, you care so much about human connections, Jim, you know this, like if you're pushing me beyond this comfortable space that I prefer to live in, then I don't need you in my life in any way whatsoever. I don't even care if you're offering me more money. I don't care what it is that you're offering me. I don't care. I want nothing to do with you because you're not listening. And listening is a huge deal, especially when no is a complete sentence.
I think too is like, for me, I have a gift of really feeling that person's emotion. So if we are engaging in an actual conversation, right? Not like a cold call and then you're like, I don't need this, blah, blah, and it's like immediate conflict. But like, say we're having a conversation and people are open to it. And I'm starting to feel those emotions that are arising and I'm starting to dig and I'm using that empath skill to really build that relationship and get to know you on a deep level. And I'm making assumptions, right? Because, that's how I use that gift is about 80% of the time, I'm pretty dead on when it comes to the emotional intelligence. Oftentimes I'm completing sentences in my head of what you're going to say, right? Because I'm taking all that intuitive information and leveraging it internally. But I'm wrong sometimes. I'm not right. So, but if I could lean in on the people that I just feel that I need to lean in on, that's where I believe I'm selling with soul, right? Because it's like my soul is telling me like, you are the perfect person for this. You just need more information. And then I'm uncovering things, right? I'm uncovering in that sales process, like you don't even know what you don't know. Let me just give you some information and then let's reassess it. Like, again, I'm not jamming it down your throat, but like past experiences are a big thing with events. It's the number one objection. The last 3 events I went to is just shitty, or the last couple, I'm sick of these happy hours, or I'm like, you just don't have the information. You don't know, you haven't experienced what I do, right? Like walking you through your dreams and eating filet mignon and asking boldly for help and, sharing numbers and removing your cell phones for 3 hours and doing it in a gorgeous Airbnb. Like, that's not a typical happy hour. Okay. So they may need information. And I think that's where it really comes into like, does this fit for the person? And I think that's the difference between selling and hard selling or selling with soul. And if I can do that and uncover those things, I think one, I'm protecting my energy in the sales process, right? Because how many times, and I did this in real estate, it lasted a week, but like I'm calling up people to try to sell their home and it's just like, it's like an argument. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? like, like I'm arguing with you for you to hire me for me to make 20K. It just feels disgusting, And that field, that process, those for sale by owners, I'm the 30th agent that's called them. Like they're done, they're fed up. And I don't have the skill set like Brock Zeven, who can do this and becomes best friends with people. Like he's got a great skill set. He crushes this stuff. Like I watched him get $1 million deal for some woman. It's not even his deal. He got the appointment, closed it. I'm like, you're gifted, man. Like your book is amazing. Anyways, tangent right there, but that's not me. So really trying to figure out what gives me the energy in the sales process, what gives me the energy in those conversations. I'm trying to lean into that more than ever because I don't want to be the person when they say no to keep digging and to kill a relationship.
Yeah, you don't want them to get off the phone with you and be like, block.
And I was that. Like, there's people in my life that I just hammered them to come to the next thing or buy the next thing from me. And like, we don't have a relationship. Like I've lived that to where I know, and I am not going to do that again. And that's part of me just sharing it right now is like, I did that. I was the one that just called you to sell you something, hammered you, and then we're not friends anymore. And I've lost friends that way.
We should probably do a training inside Impact Effect Accelerator about nurturing leads, because I feel like there's it's an art form, right? Because for me, I've left my leads on the table until I had something to sell, right? And that's not how to nurture a lead. You need to continue that relationship even if you have no offer. You still have value in advice, in a newsletter, in a video. There still should be an exchange of free information. And then when you have something to sell, you can make that offer. But I think that I realize I have a huge gap there where I sort of just leave them on the table until I have an offer. And it's like, well, that's not how we nurture. So I think that you should do a training inside Impact Effect next month about nurturing leads, because we all know the sales cycle's taking longer now, right? So to like get somebody from a potential cold lead to a warm lead is taking way longer to an actual sell. And I think people have to really look at it from the perspective of just connecting with other people, and not as a sale, right? Like I don't want to see the dollar sign on everyone's faces. I want to just be able to connect with them. And if I can truly help you in any way, I want to be of value for you in that space. But if they don't know that, because I'm not nurturing that connection, I'm just leaving it cold on the table until I have something I want to sell. And I don't think that's fair, number one, to my audience. I also don't think it's fair to myself, because again, I can help people that have so much more value to give. It doesn't have to always be in an offer, a paid offer. So write that down. Add that to our training.
I was going to say, it's such a great concept to discuss and to get into the nitty gritty and the little bit of the details and the cadence of communication and all these things kind of come into it, because you can't help someone or want to help someone and then they don't give you exactly what you need in the time frame you need it, and then discard them. And although it doesn't come across in a headline that says that on your news feed, subconsciously that's what's happening. That's how you are feeling, right? And the whole goal we talk about is know, like, and trust. Get someone to know you, get someone to like you, get someone to trust you. Most of the time, people know you, right? And they're trying to decide if they like you. And in the process of them deciding if they like you, this is either where we crush that they trust us or we kill the fact that they're going to trust us. And I think the nurture piece is that messy middle to get it to that trust factor. And I think that if you're missing that, it's really hard. Unless, like, you do a great job of it. If you're not nurturing on email, you're putting out so much content that people are getting value, they're seeing you, and that is a way of nurture. But I also know that you're a master of your craft, and most people are not, especially business owners. Like, most people don't want to be content creators. They want to be business owners that need to create content, right? And I respect that. But because you're showing up, because you put out 3, 5, 7, I mean, I don't know, how many pieces of content you put out a day? 20?
I aim for 3.
But
I'm
you're
a content creator with a business, not a business that has to create content. So I do think it's a little bit different because mine is in different levels. So I have to show up differently, which probably works against me because I'm not niching down, but whatever. That's a whole other conversation.
I was gonna say, we'll put
we
that
can
on
talk
the
about
training.
that all fucking day.
We'll put that on the training.
Seriously, I get it. The riches are in the niches, and that's why I'm not rich.
So with the statement you started off with in today's Rise and Energize, is there any
No
advice?
is a complete sentence.
Is there any advice on how to stand on that leg before we wrap up that you want to leave everybody with?
No, again, like, I'll go back to this a few times in all of our conversations. Learn to be the observer and feel how you're feeling. If you feel like you're being put on the defense, if you feel like you've said no and that's enough, and you're like stopping your mouth from over explaining, feel how you feel in that moment, and then also see how they're reacting. Observe what they're doing, because if they're forcing you to come up with an excuse or a reason, if they're putting you on defense and you don't like the way that feels, because it does feel icky, just be aware of that and know that, like, that's not your person, right? That's not the person that you need to connect with and do work with, because if they can't understand that you've already said no, then what's going to happen down the line when something bigger comes up? And right. So just understand no is a complete sentence, and you do not have to have guilt over any of that, whether it's telling a friend that you can't come to something, or a business meeting, or somebody who wants money from you. It's okay to just say no. No, thank you. We're empowering you to do that. Which, by the way, is what we do inside Impact Effect Accelerator, is we empower you guys to make those choices and make those decisions. Because sometimes we need somebody on our side. We need somebody to turn to be like, hey, is this the right thing to do? Or how do I do this? And because we're live inside of the app all the time, we can give you that real life advice. So that's all I have.
See you inside Impact Effect Accelerator later today.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.